Got a number of interesting things to get into. In this video, we have these new clips that are sort of going viral right now. We have one that's got almost 20 million views of what appears to be some sort of UFO. We'll get into that. We also have here a clip that's been going viral of recent of Ammon Hillman responding to Wes Huff about his claims on the word Christ. We'll get into that as well. And actually, we're going to get into a ton of other stuff that's going on right now. Some interesting new things that were discovered. We have also just a ton of stuff to get into. Let's just get going here. We'll start with this here. Dr. Ammon Hillman responds to Wesley Huff on the claims about the word Christ and its etymology, sort of where it came from. Check this out. What's really interesting is how the guy is sort of not able to just sit there and withstand listening to Wes Huff and seemingly has strange mannerisms. Check this out.
With something like what Ammon says
he's in the
is
corner,
that he's taking
bottom
terminology that exists within the parameters of a specific field, and then he's applying them in areas where there's an entirely different contextual meaning and spectrum of understanding.
It's a big turd.
Part
Catch
of
it
what he
off.
said that some people jumped on was that he...
That's a little weird. Like he's saying it's a big turd. Like what? And of course, he just can't stand listening to Wes Huff for some strange reason. And here's where it gets really, really bizarre. All right, check this out.
So Ammon takes that and he says, well, in this very specific instance, in this stream of classical medical literature, it means to apply a drug to your eyes, specifically related to not the bot fly. What does he say? The
bot fly.
He relates it to a fly. And
I don't remember the detail, but
and it does mean that,
you moron,
in the particular instance that it's being used.
Gadfly.
But this is where semantic range is very important.
Semantic range.
Oh God!
And this is the problem that some others have.
Let him finish. Let him finish.
yeah,
He's almost there.
Pull up this clip, by the way.
He's about to climax.
There's
Looks like this guy's about ready to go to the bathroom or something.
there's context. I think I have it.
All right, fast forward
see,
through the
so
part
they-
where he plays the clip. We don't need to play that
You're
again.
not holding your breath, bro. You can handle it.
Okay,
is
there.
not says there, but you're saying that like he's stretching some of his knowledge on the pharmacological history of language and bringing
I
that
think
into
this is something
say
spiritual.
Jesus's lexicon and how he says things.
Yeah.
You know.
So there's two sort of terms that are used specifically within biblical studies, but this applies to anything within the ancient world where we're trying to come up with translations in deriving meaning. The first is there's a discipline called hermeneutics, and hermeneutics is this interpretation. It's the methodology of interpretation that we use on a particular text. Before hermeneutics is exegesis, and exegesis is a Greek word that literally
Look, he said exegesis, right? And then he goes, Jesus. He says, I thought that was a little weird.
means to bring out. Right, the opposite would be eisegesis, to read into. So when
fingering
you're exegeting
me.
something and you're looking at
Really? So it's almost like he can't even handle the word eisegesis when it sounds like the word Jesus, right? Like it's weird. It's really weird.
an ancient language, you're trying to get at the author's intention by different levels of contextual
Oh my goodness, what's
application.
going on here, dude?
So
Pulling the
there's
demon out of you.
Stop!
contextualization,
Stop!
there's
You're trying to
document contextualization,
stop!
there's
I can't take it! I
historical
can't take it! I can't take it! Please,
The other guy's just like, okay, yeah, I think you can handle it, bro.
You're going through an exorcism right now.
Steve,
He's
stop!
going through an
Pulling the
He said to him, are you going through an exorcism right now? He really said that to him. I didn't even notice that the first time I saw that. That's interesting.
I'm out of you right now.
God!
He's
Oh God!
confusing and
Stop! It's so
Haven't you
bad.
ever heard of hermeneutics?
It's
realms of how we do
Stop. You're trying to get to the intention of the author. No, you're not. You're reading an ancient language.
Ammon, you're pulling out a specific context in Galen's medical text and trying to apply it to everything across the board,
Here's the problem.
which is intellectually dishonest.
Here's the problem. I'm not pulling it out of Galen. Does Galen have it? Yes. Fucking Euripides has it. He gets a sex drug that is a...
So, of course, I think comes back to more so what Dr. Ammon Hillman wants to see in the text, more so than what it actually says. The terms, obviously you can see English language terms. They have originations in more ancient contexts, and they mean different things in other applications like medical situations or sports or whatever you're talking about. A word can have a different meaning based on the situation it's being used. And of course, I think Dr. Hillman here, I guess we'll call him, is not obviously wanting to really look at it the way that it probably should be more likely looked at. He's wanting to look at it in sort of this weird off in a tangent, not really related way. I'm also curious about his tattoos a little bit here. And I at first when I looked at it with the headphones on, I was thinking it was modern Hebrew, because you only can see like literally half of one of the symbols with that headphone on his head. Apparently this is what it actually is. And I was like, what language is that? Well, it's not a normal language. Let's just put it that way. It's Linear B, syllabic script used in I don't even know how to say this. Mycenaean Greek, the earliest attested form of Greek language. So, okay, so he has a lot of Greek on him. And he also Paleo-Hebrew on him as well. I think I saw, let's see here, some of his tattoos. Is this the guy right here? Or is this a different guy? I think that's a different guy. Where is this the only tattoo he has on himself? That one? Or has he got other ones? I think he has more than one. I don't know where all of his other tattoos are, but it's an ancient form of Greek apparently, and which is interesting because I'm into Greek. I tend to go with the Greek Septuagint because you can then correlate it with the New Testament. You can understand phraseology in the New Testament from the Old Testament using the Greek Septuagint, which is from about 270 BC. This apparently is the older Greek form, Linear B, which is apparently from about 1300 BC. And it's an extinct, of course, status. But we know tattoos can mean things. I don't know. Obviously, there is something relevant to looking into more ancient understandings of words. You can get a better understanding of its original etymology. But the problem is that the way it was used in the context of these scriptures is not what he's saying. It's pretty obvious, and he is kind of cherry picking it and putting it the way he wants it to be. At any rate, there's that. So then we got this other thing, a viral video. It's got 20 million views of a flying saucer or something in the sky in 4K. They're saying it's in 4K. It's better than usual. Let's just put it that way. Right here it is. Breaking news. An entire urban neighborhood is reported. There's witnessing a UFO in 4K, massive light. It can be seen beaming down from a flying saucer. And we do have people trying to debunk this. I don't think their debunking is garbage, but we'll just show you it all. So here, let's just watch this video real quick.
It's a UFO for real. It's a UFO, bitch. No, we not making this shit up.
Yeah, the best language too.
Look at her. She gonna put
As you can see there, I took the audio off because they were saying a lot of colorful words. But you can see here, look, now some people are trying to say that this is like some sort of light post, which if you look at it, it's clearly really far away. This is not no light post unless it was like 1,000 meters tall or something. This is obviously not a light post. Okay. Obviously not a light post, extremely far away. There's a building here and it's way above it and it clearly stops before it gets to the building. So, well, no, it doesn't. It just gets lighter. But that is not a light post, okay? Unless it's the tallest one in the world. All right? That is not a light post. Some people are trying to say that. There's a funny video down here below it. Let's see if I can find that. It's pretty funny, actually. Where is that one at? Yeah, here he goes. As you can see here on the screen, I can't even show it with my mouse. Let's see if I can get my mouse on the screen. I don't think I can without it start freaking out. Nope. I knew it was going to do that. Okay, here we go. So you can see it's clearly a light post. It is a tall one, but that other one we saw was clearly much higher in the sky. It was behind a building much farther away. Yeah, I don't think it's the same thing. And also on top of that, this fades at the top, not at the bottom. And the fact is the other one's so far away, the trees are like way smaller than this. It's just not the same thing. But the guy's pretty funny though anyways.
Oh my God, it's a drone.
It's a drone.
It's a freaking drone.
The guy's like, he's just like zooming in on it, trying to make it look a certain way. As you can see here, it's not the same thing probably, but I'm about 98% sure it's not the same thing because this is much, much farther away. I can pause the thing. Goodness gracious. Even this is hard to see. But you can tell there's a truck. There's a building pretty far away. And this thing's way much higher than that. Here's the trees, right? And this is actually part of the building. This is the trees right here. So this is obviously much bigger than the other one. Yeah, way bigger. Yeah, this one's about the same height as the trees, actually. As you can see here, it's just barely above the tree. The other one, the tree is like a very small fraction of the size of it. So it's not the same thing. But it's just funny. People are trying to debunk it. 20 million views. It does look weird. I don't know what it is. Who knows what it is, but very well easily could be some sort of, UFO, obviously. We got some other weird ones as well. This one's kind of cool. It's just like showing sort of like the Terminator line in the horizon. And, of course, how you can actually have night and day at the same time. Check this out. You see there's a horizon, and you go over here and it's dark. That's kind of crazy. Makes you kind of wonder where they're at, too. It's interesting. Because you can see the sun, right, or the moon right there, right? And then you move over here. Oh, that's weird, man. Yeah, so that's kind of cool. But, I mean, so you got that. Here's another one that's really strange. They saw something massive in the ocean, and it's moving faster than the jet. It's moving faster than the commercial airline they're in. They're on some flight, over the ocean. This thing's massive, and it's moving faster. And at first, I couldn't tell, but then I got it at the right point where I can show you. Check this out. See that dark thing in the water there? Look, it's going to move past the plane. It's going to move faster than the plane. It's going to go past the window soon here. You can see the direction they're flying with the clouds. See the clouds moving? Whatever it is, it's extremely long and extremely fast. It eventually moves past the window. I think it does it right here. Is this where it starts doing it? Yeah, there it goes. It's starting to move faster than the window. That's crazy. What the heck is that thing, man? It's moving. He even says something.
Faster than us.
It's faster than us, right? So whatever it is, it's gigantic. And it's moving faster than the jet itself. And you can see the clouds moving the other direction. So what can move? What can be that massive and move that fast in the ocean? I don't know. That's kind of strange. At any rate, so you got all the... I wanted to show you all the weird stuff first. We got some other stuff as well. Apparently we got AOC here. She seems to be broke, my friends. She can't talk with the power she had before. Now, this person's saying that our president did it, but actually, I don't think that's who did it. I think it might be Benny Johnson, actually, because he put out a video about a day or so ago showing that she didn't grow up in the Bronx, but actually a very well-to-do neighborhood. And they even had a Christopher Columbus Club, even, and it's like really nice looking area she lived in, and apparently that might have been what did it.
small business owners are going to have their healthcare costs. I think this is one of the saddest days in modern American history. This is the largest.
I'm not sure what to say here,
withdrawal and ending of healthcare in American history. 17 million people.
Super passionate about it, of course. I think she's got something else on her mind while she's saying all that stuff. We have, of course, apparently our president with the most historic approval rating ever, higher than even Reagan, higher than anybody. Check this out. It's pretty crazy.
Is the most popular president with Republican voters ever. And that includes the great Ronald Reagan. Enjoy this lefty rage bait, also known as facts.
So this isn't just Republicans who like Donald Trump. This is Republicans who love Donald Trump, and he's up like a rocket. Look at this. In July 2017, the strongly approved was 53%. That's pretty good. But look at where he is now. 63% of Republicans strongly approve of the job that Donald Trump is doing about 5 months in.
Look at that. So you got a number of them in the recent past administrations. As you can see, they're the highest in the last 20 years approximately. Actually more than 20 years, 30 some years. So that's something that's kind of interesting. At the exact same time, we have apparently this coming out. Apparently the CIA, apparently conducted their own review and let out the facts on what actually happened in the past when they were trying to blame our, of course, president on, being in cahoots with, of course, Russia. That was all apparently made up. And they have now just let that information come out. This is, of course, notice the account that this is coming from. That might tell you something. We have, of course, a New York Post article on it here. Let's see if I can turn on. Can I click on it? Oh, here it is. Let's click on it here. Yeah, here we go. Was corrupt, of course, from the start. Yes, according to a review done by one of the CIA, of course, they have now put that information out, and it's been confirmed. And like I said, we're going to get into a ton more in this video. First, I'm going to mention food supply, 25-year shelf life. Link is in the description. 3 months worth for $4.97. You're going to definitely want to get that. If you have not already, this is the lowest price they've ever had. You've seen all the crazy, wonderful things happening around us. You might want to be prepared for whatever's next. Link is in the description for that. I just put the Book of Enoch on my old website. Now, maybe you guys don't know about my old website. It's called godrules.net, not .com. godrules.net. I made it I first started making it back in 1998. When I first started making this website, and I just added the Book of Enoch to it. Let me show you that. It's right here. And actually, it doesn't look like this. Let me do this. This might screw up my whole thing, but it actually looks like this usually. It's just I set it up so it works with phones. So it actually, you can use it on your phone as well. It's set up to work well on phones. I have it set up to where it does that. And I just put the first Book of Enoch on my website. I'm going to put Secrets of Enoch. I'm going to put Sibylline Oracles. I'm going to put a lot of interesting stuff over there. Might want to go check it out. Just go to godrules.net. That's one of my websites. My other one is GR Videos. GR Videos is linked in the description. At any rate, I'm going to be doing a lot more updates, adding a lot more books to my website in the near future. Just wanted to show you guys that really quickly. Let's make sure this is actually correct. I think it is correct. All right. So let's get back to the video. So we have here, apparently, now our president is calling for the Fed chair, Jerome Powell, to immediately resign and says it's too late for him. I think he has a trick up his sleeve. I think he's got a way to get rid of him. There is a cause in the clause to where he might be booted. And interestingly, he just appointed someone recently to the Fed, board. And apparently this name is supposed to mean something pretty big, according to a number of people online, that maybe something is in motion. And we're going to start seeing a lot of stuff. And this kind of correlates to what a lot of people have been saying, particularly Kim Clement, who predicted our president, who predicted RFK would join him, predicted a number of things that came true, saying that we're in the month Strange July, and it's going to go all the way through to Hypnotic November, and a lot of interesting stuff supposed to happen during this time. But we do have people, even in the church, that are saying, no, this is bad. Our president, he's trying to bring God back to, of course, America, and they're looking at it in a weird way. Like it's the... what is that show called? I can't even remember what it's called with all the women in red. I can't remember what that show's called. They're like looking at it the same way they do. I can't even. Okay, let me see if I can find this. In red movie. Or no, not series. Yeah, it's movie. Isn't it a movie? Nope. I don't remember what it's called. Whatever the hell. I don't remember what it's called. Whatever it's called. Where they try to say that, oh no, they're going to make it a Christian nation. And then it's like that whole thing. Whatever that's called. I can't remember. I have a bad memory. So I'm sure somebody's going to put it in the comment section. At any rate, these guys are Little Light Studios, they call themselves. And they do have good stuff here and there. Don't get me wrong. They do. Actually, I played a clip in the last video. One of the good things that they put out about this new Disney Pixar movie, Elio, where it has some rather strange stuff in it. But they also have sort of like a common Protestant angle. Sort of this whole like Protestant angle. They mentioned, I saw a video yesterday, they were talking about Jonathan Rumi, the guy from The Chosen, which they actually had some valid criticisms of him. But she then went on to say, and you'll see the lady here in a second, she then went on to say, talking about the Protestant Reformation and Martin Luther. And it's kind of amazing that she's picking so much on Jonathan Rumi. Has she ever looked into what Martin Luther said? Some of his famous quotes? Because he says some pretty crazy things. Let's just put it that way. He said some pretty, like he's literally wanted to kick certain books out of the Bible. That's one. I think Revelation was one of them. There's actually a couple others. He said he could literally sin and do whatever he wanted to in a couple quotes. He said a lot of stuff that makes no sense. That's completely unchristian. Because some people may not believe me, I just have to show you a couple of these. Here's an example. I look upon God no better than a scoundrel. That's pretty bad. It could be out of context, but I don't know how. But Christ committed adultery, first of all, with the woman at the well. Are you serious? This is the kind of stuff. I remember reading these. I'm like, what? I have greater confidence in my wife and my peoples than I have in Christ. Like, what? Seriously? Like, I've seen these quotes in many different places that he said these things. And good works are bad and are sin like the rest. Like, what? You see what I mean? Like, he said some pretty out there outlandish things that just make no sense that, I mean, honestly, make people like Kenneth Copeland look good. Kenneth Copeland's bad. And this makes Kenneth Copeland look good. You know what I mean? Like, these are really bad sayings. And I only showed you like 5. And there's actually a lot here. There's apparently a lot. 40, almost 40 of them. And I just showed you like 5 of them. Okay. So maybe those are the worst 5. I don't know. But I wanted to point out, like, this dude said some pretty out there things. And a lot of Protestants revere the guy. Like, do they even know what he said? That's my point. But at any rate, let's just play this clip here. They're talking about our president saying that he's going to force, of course, people to go to church, which I can't in a million years seeing actually happening. But
it kind of caught my attention to thinking about what happened in the past.
Mm-hmm. Through your leadership, you embody the values of our Christian faith and love for the gospel. You remind me of the great Roman Emperor, Constantine the Great.
So I think I know what their angle is. So they're trying to say, okay, look, our president's taking these compliments. He's like Constantine. You remember the whole picture where he looked like the Pope? He said, I'll be the next Pope. Like they're thinking like he literally wants to be this. Like he's going to force people to do whatever or something.
This emperor, your dear Mr. President, is the one who founded and built the magnificent city of Constantinople. my birthplace.
Yeah, so what it is I've noticed with this Little Light Studio is that they're very against the idea. They're very much focused on individualism. Individualism in our faith. No, structure where you have like a cultural build where you have anything that might be national, istic. Those things are bad kind of attitude. And I don't actually agree with that, because I think it's wise to have your faith within your country, with your leadership having faith. I don't think there's like some conflict of interest because they're always telling us there is, but then it never happens. It's actually the exact opposite. It's all atheism, secularism, all the, rainbow, and that's the stuff that actually is what's been corrupting, of course, our society, not people, going to church, right? It's just kind of ridiculous. And they also tended to be very anti this. We have the 7 Mountains, of course, prediction from Enloe. And I believe that is actually happening right now. We're now seeing leadership in these 7 sectors changing hands. Government, education, business, media, arts and entertainment, family and religion. We're seeing leadership in the church falling left and right. All the old guard, whether it's on the prosperity preacher side or the Calvinist side, you're seeing a lot of those that are not legit on both sides. There's probably legit people on both sides. I'm sure there are, obviously. I mean, I'm sure you can name a few, but there are a lot of non-legit people as well on both sides that tend to be very high up too. You never notice that a lot of these people that fall tend to be very high up, right? Carl Lentz, Steve Lawson, a lot of people that are very well known, seemingly falling left and right. And I believe this is God doing this. And he's going to bring up true leadership that he wants to replace these people. This is what I think is happening right now. This, I think, is part of the whole thing about the next 6 months where things change for the better. At any rate, so I think you get kind of the idea of what I'm getting at with regards to that. We have also this, I covered this over my other channel, about how RFK said something rather intriguing on the Tuckmeister's program here. Of course, about Fauci. Check this out. Let's play this.
He got immunity. Why did he need immunity? Why did he need a pardon in advance?
What do you think the answer is?
I would be speculating, but I think he was vulnerable. I think he had a lot of liability on creating coronavirus. He was funding.
That's interesting. So he says that maybe he had some liability. That's why he needed this preemptive, of course, pardon. And, well, that's kind of interesting because now we're seeing a lot of these things starting to happen. We're seeing people being called before Congress that you would never expect to be called. You're seeing these prisons being opened that are interesting. Alligator, Alcatraz itself, Rikers, and then you have also, apparently Gitmo was expanded, which is interesting. And you're now seeing also people being arrested, some. We had, of course, some in a health fraud crackdown. What was that, like a day or so ago? And now we're having people calling, of course, for those that were just, outed, that I covered earlier, that were purposely trying to, of course, frame, our president. Maybe they need to be put in and prosecuted, all that kind of stuff. Of course, you also have that trial going on with the Didmeister currently, which apparently some are saying it's not as good as it looks for him. They're saying even though he got off on two major counts, he got caught on a couple other ones, but then there's some potential of other things happening in the future to where he ultimately could be behind bars in a large way with some of these big charges. I don't want to get into all that here. What do you mean covered that? But if you want to go check it out. Also, by the way, happy 4th of July. I thought this was kind of funny. Thank you for always, not you, putting our country first. That's pretty funny, dude. Interesting little picture there. At any rate. So, of course, like I said, I do think we're going to be seeing a lot of interesting stuff this month. We're already starting to see it. It's already starting to happen. A number of Kim Clement's predictions are coming true. We have a tidal wave coming by the end of the year. And we're seeing a lot of interesting things happen. We had televangelist Jimmy Swaggart also die like a day ago, I think it was. We have Paula White, I covered on my other channel, apparently bowing to a lady that thinks she's a god, the Moonies.
My last question centers on Paula. In this video, she calls Mrs. Moon mother. Does she really understand what she is saying?
I am so honored to be with you, and what an encouragement to the body of Christ and to you, Mother Moon, for your time.
Now, Mother Moon is supposed to be the only daughter of God, begotten daughter of God, according to their religion, Moonies. And her husband was supposedly like essentially Christ on earth. So, yeah, I think they might be a little off track, just a little bit. You know what I mean? I think it might be a cult. I don't know, a cult. Maybe a cult is the right word. And another person who predicted our president, there were two major ones. Kim Clement was one of them. The other one was Mark Taylor. Here's Mark with a different prediction back in 2021 about Paula White. And we're seeing it is come true. Said down here, the Spirit of God says another betrayal from the president's spiritual advisory board has taken place. Jezebel whispers, it's complete. We have the king's ear. I control who speaks to the king. No true prophet of the living God will ever reach him. Only my soothsayers will speak. The betrayer sits at the king's table. And, of course, the Spirit of God says the time has come to hold all the enemies of the living God, creator of heaven and earth, accountable for what they have done against mankind. So we're going to see a tables being turned. This seems the timing of this is very interesting, considering a number of things about Paula White has come out within the last few months. And, of course, now she's friendly with a cult leader.
Streams that are converging into one place.
This moon
and she's
lady.
saying that all religions need to come into unity. And this is the woman that is calling for one world religion. Paula White is bound to her. And what is Paula White doing? I believe that's Paula White down there.
Right here. This is in D.C. This is with Joni Lamb from Daystar, who's also mired in a scandal currently, as well as a TV network, Christian TV network. Anyway, I think you get kind of the idea. Last, I wanted to get into that there is going to be a sequel, and it's going to come out in a not so distant future here. Mel Gibson's sequel, of course, to The Passion. And a lot of people have been talking about this of recent. It's already starting to gain popularity. Honestly, I want to see it. We have, of course, the original film was 20 years ago. And so we got that going on. We also have Therese here.
It's quite
I'm sorry. Charlize Theron. I can't even say her name right. She apparently is all upset that we cut the USAID funds. She thinks that there's millions, of course, going to, die or something from it.
devastating what's going to happen with something that to me is so, I don't want to make it sound trivia, but it's less than 1% of this budget that everybody is talking about.
So
and
that's
when you
how they
compare
did it.
that to the millions of people that are going to die.
Okay, so she's saying basically, so the way they do it is they argue that it's so little money and it's helping so many people, when actually it's the exact opposite. It's a ton of money. It's not helping anybody hardly. I think it's probably helping a little bit of people, but that's intentional so they can do all their other stuff with the money. So it looks like, oh, look, we're helping people. Well, they're doing it using most of the money to do other stuff, right? And of course, she also was dogging on Jeff Bezos' wedding. This is Charlize Theron, the actress.
Immigration policy is destroying the lives of families, not criminals. Women's rights are becoming less and less every day. Queer and trans lives are increasing.
Oh my goodness. You can tell she definitely drinks all, of course, the Kool-Aid. And at any rate, so you got that story going on. Kind of wonder what some of you guys think. Let me know in the comment section below, and thanks for watching.